I think you're talking about direct democracy, the idea that the general public can vote and decide on legislation. And we have two examples of direct democracy. One was in ancient Athens in Greece, and the other is in Switzerland today. My understanding of how it works in Switzerland is as follows. And please, if any Swiss see this, and I'm wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments. The Parliament can still pass legislation and amendments to the Constitution, but the Swiss people have the power to call a referendum on new laws or some international treaties. And in order for a referendum to be held, a minimum of 8 cantons, so smaller states or provinces, if you like, regions of Switzerland, have to request it. Alternatively, you could get 50,000 signatures from eligible voters, but this has to be done within 100 days. The Swiss people can also recommend something called a popular initiative, demanding a change to the constitution, for example. And any Swiss person who is eligible to vote can sign this popular initiative. But you do need a group of at least 7 citizens in order to do this. And those citizens must get at least 100,000 signatures in favour of the proposal. And this has to be done within 18 months. Both the Parliament and the Federal Council can recommend whether or not the proposal should be accepted or rejected. But in order for it to be accepted, a double majority needs to be reached. So that's the crash course on Swiss direct democracy. Like I said, if I'm wrong, Swiss citizens, please correct me. Now for my thoughts on direct democracy. I think it's a very good idea, and I think it's something that we should ultimately strive to, or at least some form of it. Move away from the representative democracies that we have. Because with DD, or some form of it, you would at least not have to worry so much about having to elect some politician that you've never spoken to in your life and worry about them not necessarily representing your interests and being susceptible to corruption. You will effectively be giving the decision-making process on legislation directly to the people, which ultimately is what democracy is. It is the will of the people in the majority. However, it sounds good on paper, but in practice, there are some consequences. Referendums can be extremely divisive. Just look at the Brexit referendum. I would argue one of the reasons why it was so divisive was because too many people stuck their noses in where it wasn't needed. Far too many big business owners, far too many politicians, media outlets, big businesses, bankers, international elites, etc. stuck their noses in and made things worse. If it was a simple case of, right, this is the proposal, this is what will happen if we stay in, this is what will happen if we leave, these are the pros and cons of both sides, it's up to you, then it probably would have gone a lot smoother. So referendums can be quite divisive, but then politics in general is a divisive sport. Another issue is voter fraud, forging signatures, electronic voting, mail-in ballots, etc. If you're going to do it, you've got to really be on top of it.